Hi, folks. Got an absolutely fantastic guest. He's been on before. Richard Donaldson, leader of the Great British National Protest. How are you, Richard?
I'm okay, mate. I'm okay. How are you?
Yeah, not bad, not bad. Obviously, a very sad day. I want to talk first about obviously the shooting of Charlie Kirk. What are your views about all of that?
Mate, I think like most people, I think we're all just in shock. I
Mm.
don't know if you saw the footage.
Yeah,
There's close-up footage that's circulating.
yeah,
Just wow. What can you say? I think we've got to the point now where, I mean, obviously we don't know the specifics around the shooter.
yeah.
If you do, I've not seen anything yet.
No, no.
Um, but there seems to be a common theme here. There's a hypocrisy, certainly, sort of
Mhm.
on the left now, where we're constantly demonized, and it's pushed by the media as well.
Yeah,
It's the media, it's the likes of, I mean, even Kier Starmer put out
yeah.
a post last night on X to say how sad it was, and I just thought, there are so many people now pushing a narrative that is demonizing the likes of us, people who are
Yes.
speaking out, to the point where now these things are almost inevitable, and that's scary,
Mhm.
and it's sad to say that these things. I mean, look, Donald Trump.
Yeah.
He's nearly
Twice
been
or three
assassinated.
times
What,
almost.
3 times, I think.
Yeah.
It's constant. I don't want to make this about me. I get
Mm.
death threats. My friends who are activists, they're constantly getting death threats. It's a very real thing.
Mhm.
And the hypocrisy around all of this, where we're constantly called the fascists, we're the
Mhm.
violent ones, we're the Nazis, we're this, that, and
Mhm.
the other. Well, I mean, I haven't seen any sort of right wing, people or people who are, identify as right wing are going out of their way to do things like this. It's just,
Mhm.
I, I don't know what to say, mate. To be honest with you, I'm completely shocked by all of
Did you
it.
see all of those posts on like, TikTok and stuff by supposedly, Democrats and stuff, who are laughing, joking,
hmm
jumping up and down with excitement that he's been shot. I mean, what kind of people are these?
I absolutely detest Keir Starmer.
Yes.
I loathe the man. Okay,
Yeah.
I would never ever rejoice.
No.
If he was sat in Charlie Kirk's seat yesterday and it was him in that
Mm.
position and he'd been
Mm.
shot, I certainly wouldn't
Yeah.
rejoice, because
No.
nobody deserves that. Nobody,
Mm.
regardless.
No.
All Charlie Kirk has ever done
Mhm.
is give his opinion and say to people, if you want to debate, come and debate me. That's all
Yeah.
he's ever done. And for that, for speaking out, for speaking his truth and being completely honest and saying, this is what I think, this is what I feel, because of that, two children have just lost their dad, and a woman's
Mhm.
just lost her husband. It
Yeah, because
just
he's
blows.
not even a
It's blown my mind.
politician. He's not even a politician. He's
No.
just somebody who is prepared to go into universities and debate and just offer a different opinion. And for that, he's been gunned down. How do you think America's going to go on this? I mean, I think the lines are going to be so separated now.
I think, look, there's been that divide for the longest time now between sort of the left
Mm.
and the right. However, I think it's always been skewed one way, so I think it's always been the right that have been demonised.
Yes.
I think what's happened now sort of puts a spotlight on the fact that actually there are very, very dark forces at work, and I think the left are the ones who are facilitating it. And I think
Yeah.
this shines a light on that. Look, I don't think this is going to go any other way than more violence. I don't think people are going to go, oh, this is really sad, oh, poor Charlie
Mhm.
Kirk, let's all go home. I don't think that's going to happen. I think this is just going to escalate, and I think it's going to happen all over the West. I really do.
Yeah. Yeah, I tend to agree. I don't see if you think you've got, I don't know how many people voted for Trump, but you've got, 90 million or something like that. There's going to be people in there who are going to want to, be violent the other way. You cannot
hmm
keep doing this from the left and the right just sort of sitting back. And I'm not condoning it and I'm not wishing it in any way, but I think it's going to be very dangerous times ahead over there.
we've been
Mhm.
demonized, we've been vilified for so
Mhm.
long. We've been told that, if you believe in, a nuclear family, if you just believe that a
Mhm.
dad should be a dad, a mum should be a mum, and you shouldn't be sort of, mixing genders and blurring the lines and all the rest of it. If
Mhm.
you go back to very sort of old school principles and beliefs, we've been
Mhm.
demonized for that for the
Yeah.
longest time. It's gone past that now because we were always demonized by the media and by politicians. Now it's our fellow citizens, if you like, people who
Mhm.
are on the left side of politics, who
Mhm.
are now attacking us directly, and that's where I think things get really quite dangerous.
You said earlier about, that you've received threats, and obviously we're not saying it's about you, but at this tragic time. But how real are they threats? Are they sort of, people just sounding off, or do you think there's some reality in it?
The thing is that you never know until it
Hmm.
happens, until
Yeah.
there is an attempt made. So, look, I tend to take them all with a pinch of salt. Like I say, I've got personal friends who they're always going viral on TikTok and Facebook and all the rest of it, just giving their opinions. Okay, there's one
Mhm.
lady, Mrs. Kent, she won't mind me saying,
Yeah.
who sings songs,
Yeah. Another
about
one.
Kier
Yeah.
Starmer and Labour, and
Yeah.
she's fantastic. For
Yeah.
that, she gets death threats. She has 5 children. Okay,
Right.
these people message her, they give her death threats, they bring her children into it. Why? She's
Mhm.
singing songs that they don't
Yeah.
agree with.
Yeah.
So until something happens, all you can really do is try and laugh it off. The police aren't interested. You can say, "Oh, I've
No.
had death threats," and because you're, right wing, they don't
Hmm.
care. They don't follow
No.
it up. They don't chase it up. So all you can really do is try and watch your back,
Hmm.
and keep going. That's
Yeah.
It's sad, isn't it? But that's the reality of it.
Yeah. Well, good. R.I.P. Charlie Kirk. I thought that was just awful. And even on in the crowd, there was a certain section of the crowd that was celebrating, him being shot. And then I don't know if you saw the footage in Congress or where some of the Democratic Party wouldn't even give 1 minute silence for him. They were saying, no, 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 we're not going to do it. He is a father of 2 children, he's got a wife are just disgraceful. Now, I want to go back to you. Obviously, you are the Great British National Protest. Now, you did that big event in Dover. How did you think it went? Were you encouraged by it? Were you not encouraged? What happened?
Yeah, I think it was a mixed bag. I think it went well overall. Everybody who turned up had a good time. There was no violence. There was nothing like that. We It's quite hard to say. People were sort of coming. We had problems with like the PA equipment, so we had it confirmed from the council, from the local harbour board, that we'd be able to put a trailer out
Mhm.
next to the pier. We'd be able to have the speakers on there and all the rest of it, a big TV screen. And then it was 3 days prior to us actually getting onto the beach. So we were only given 3 days notice where they said, actually, we've changed our mind, so you can't do that now.
Mhm.
So it was like, oh no. So then we essentially had these like crappy little Bluetooth speakers that we just sort of dumped in the sand, and then people couldn't really hear us at the back. So, I mean, overall, it was good. People came along. They said they enjoyed it and all the rest of it. And there were, I reckon, there was probably around 1,000 people there. So it wasn't a
Right.
complete washout, but it could have been so much better. It could have been so much
Mhm.
better. But you live and learn.
Why did you think it didn't get the amount of people? Was it the fact that Dover is so far away? Do you think?
Yeah, I think, well, there were lots of things. So yeah, Dover's quite far away. But essentially, you do sort of trap everyone down south. A lot of people are quite happy to, travel an hour or so. But the main roads were closed down. The main
Mhm.
road sort of along the beach, that was closed down. The bikers that were coming along, they were messaging us on the day saying the police just wouldn't let them through.
Mhm.
There were lots of things. There was disruption to public transport. People were literally, I've got video messages. People, trying to get onto the trains. The trains were stopped, sort of, 5 minutes
Mhm.
away. They were stopped for sort of 45 minutes, but none of it ended up on the timetables or in the news. It was very
Mhm.
strange. There were lots of things that sort of that took place. Yeah, it could have been better, but overall, I was happy with it. Yeah.
And since that point, do you feel that the movement has expanded, or do you feel it's sort of where are you at with it?
Yeah, well, the main thing for me, so the first phase was all about sort of advertising like who we were, because like I've said
Mhm.
before, like I came out of nowhere essentially, like no one knows
Yes.
who I am. Dover was then to cause a little bit of a splash,
Hmm.
and now what we've been able to do is, I mean, you look at the raising the colours.
Hmm.
We've been pushing that. We've been largely responsible for making sure everybody's doing that. All these protests outside hotels now, so we're sort of able to sit back in the background. So all these protests that you've seen at the hotels, we funded 42 was the last count. So
Really?
yeah, a lot of people, in the early days when they were saying, oh, you're grifting, you're trying to make money for yourself and all the rest of it, what they
Mhm.
didn't know was essentially all I had to do was try and market the Great British National Protest. That's why,
Mhm.
in the beginning I used words like strike to cause a bit of discord in the
Mhm.
comments, so that we'd hit the algorithm. There were legal reasons as well.
Mhm.
But essentially what I had to do was try and market the Great British National Protest
Mhm.
so that people essentially just knew who we were. We then got the donations in. We're then sending flags out left, right, and centre so that they can go up all over the country. Like I say, 42 hotels we've funded now with speakers, megaphones, flags. We're helping to promote it all. We're working with the local organisers on the ground to make sure that they're happy, they know what they're doing. We're liaising with all the police officers all over the country. So what my original vision was to create this sort of umbrella where we could all sort of unite as one. And that's worked. That is working now. I think this country, I think people in general now, with everyone's waking up. People are happy to be involved in these sorts of things. Do you know what I mean? So overall, I think it's been a massive success, and I think it will continue to be a massive success. It's
So
just,
how big is your team that you have around you? And are you still working, or are you able now to do this full time?
So essentially, I'm a HGV driver by trade. So I raise money. I have a separate buy me a coffee, which I've said to people, look, I need to do this full time. If you can please donate £1 a month. If everybody just does £1 a month, I don't earn enough from that. Not enough people donate £1 a month to be able to pay my bills. So every now and again, I sort of dip into, it's called agency work, agency driving.
Yes.
So I'll do that to top my own personal funds up. So I am still working part time, still doing this. Our team, if anybody's been following us on social media, we have just had to let 2 people go because they were they weren't right. I'll say that much. But our team at the moment, there's me, there's Viv, Adventure of the Swan. If anybody's heard of him, he's huge on social media. We've got a young lad called Connor, and then another young lad called Mason. So yeah, that's us.
And because of your profile, are you sort of being invited everywhere? So I mean, were you invited, say, for this thing on the 13th? Did they consider you as a speaker?
The idea was floated by people in his camp, but to be honest with you, it's not something standing on stage in front of 1 million people is, I mean, I only started this a couple of months ago, so I think I'd probably just shit myself, to be honest with you. I won't be able to do it. What's interesting is the 2 people that we've just let go were quite famous sort of on the activism scene.
Yes.
Quite well known in a negative light, but when I took them on, I always tried to take people sort of at face value.
Yes.
Now that we've let those people go, and I spoke out publicly about them, the big accounts, your Tommy Robinson's now reposting us, Britain First, whoever, whether you agree with these people or not, they're huge accounts, they're big activist accounts. So now, like, a lot more doors have opened.
Great.
So we seem to be now getting the support and the backing to be able to move forward with these large accounts. So it's properly exciting stuff now.
Yeah, are you getting recognised a lot?
Like when I'm out in public, yeah, it's awful. It's awful. It's lovely because people come up and they say, "Oh, you're the guy, from the national protest or from the national strike." I say, "Yeah," and everyone's been really nice. But it's still very strange, mate. It's very strange to be in Aldi, like looking at jars of gherkins, and someone comes up and talks to you, and yeah, it's nuts. It's nuts.
Well, you're going to get that on Saturday, aren't you? When you go.
Yeah, I mean, it's not about me. It's about this is Tommy Robinson's thing. But yeah, I've said to people, if you do recognise me, come and say hello. I'll recognise people there. Like I had a bit of a night out with a few friends a couple of days ago. It's called the Red Pill Convention. So it's all about conspiracy theory, and it's really cool. And we were there, and a guy come up to me, and he was like, "I know your face." And I said, "I know your face." He said, "I was at Chester." I said, "Yeah, mate, I recognise you." Yeah. So there's people who have come to the protest. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, it's cool. I love seeing people and they recognise me and I recognise them and stuff, and we chat and all the rest of it. But it's just, it's nerve-wracking, mate, to think,
absolutely.
Where you go.
So what do you think about the 13th? And then you're going to go. Is your team all going to go with you?
Yeah, we're all going. What's left of us? Yeah, we're all looking forward to it. I think with what happened, going back to Charlie Kirk and all the rest of it, we've got I know Antifa are looking at turning up. They're putting on coaches, and the funding they get, mate, is unreal. The coaches that they're putting on all over the country to come for the 13th. But security is going to be mega. There's going to be police there. They've got marshals, and I know firsthand from speaking to Tommy's camp, it's all being done completely professionally. Like, it's going to be. I'm really looking forward to it, mate. I'm looking forward to it, and it's so important to remember that these events, we have to turn up to these things. We have to, and we can't be sort of put off by the lefties, by the scumbags, essentially. We've got to turn up, it's a free speech festival. That's what it's all about.
Well, what are you thinking about this sort of Antifa and stuff like that? Have you had much dealings with them? Have they been on to you personally or, at your events?
Yeah, I mean, we're moving house anyway because our landlord is a lefty and he saw
Right.
our my videos.
No.
So yeah, so we're moving house over the next couple of days anyway. We've sort of got an eviction.
Seriously, so let me just
Yeah,
bring you back on that. Let me bring you back on that. So you've got a landlord who's a lefty, and what did he give you notice, and did he say it's because of what you're doing?
yeah. So it's 28 days. Basically, I just got a message with a screenshot of my Facebook account saying I think we need to talk. And I thought, I don't really want to reply to this. I thought, I'll just leave it. So I left it
Yeah.
till the following day. But then before I could reply back to him, I got an email through from the estate agents that he worked through saying, this is your 28-day notice. So, yeah. So that's, I mean, it is what it is. Me and my wife, we were like, I'm pretty sure, these things, it's what happens. All you can do, mate, is sort of just move with it. Do you know what I mean? Try and laugh it off
It's
and keep
really
moving forward.
shitty. That is
Yeah,
shitty.
properly.
That
Properly.
really, really
Properly.
is.
Yeah. So we're trying to get all that sorted at the minute. We got the keys to the new house yesterday, so now it's
Oh,
like trying to
great.
move everything and yeah,
Did you
so we've
have to
managed to get
hide
stuff in place.
did you have to hide your identity for the new place that you're going into?
No, well, we were like we sat down, we were like, because obviously Tommy's changed his name like 10
Yes.
times, hasn't he? And
Yeah,
I'm
yeah.
thinking, do you know what? Should I like have a different name? Should I create an alias for myself for things like this? But we
Yeah.
just applied and it's been accepted. So
Yeah.
touch wood
Yeah.
that's all sorted. Yeah.
Yeah. So when you go to the thing on the 13th, are you going to be like just part of the crowd, or are you going to be up the front with a banner? What's going to happen?
I mean, I'm going with my flag. We've all got the team. We've got like big poles with Union Jacks on, but we were
Yes.
floating the idea of do we go wearing like our own, Great British National protests and stuff. But it's not about us. It's not about us.
No.
This is UTK. This is about uniting the kingdom. It's not about the Great British National protest. We're just going as citizens, as patriots, to have a good time.
Yeah, no, that's great. So tell us now, you're moving on to phase three of your scenario. So you're going to the Home Office. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so we're going to the Home Office on the 1st of October. The Pink Ladies are going to be there. We're working with a
Yeah,
lady called
great.
Orla Minihane,
Yeah,
who's she's a firecracker. Honestly,
yeah, yeah.
she's just so like, yeah, I love her to bits. So she's going to be there. We've got the Women's Safety Initiative there coming along as well. We have invited the farmers. The farmers aren't going to be coming. They want to be sort of seen to be apolitical now. They don't really want to be.
Yes.
So you're not going to see the farmers at any of our future events. But we're talking to the veterans now. There's a large veteran community there. They're going to be coming as well. Hopefully we get big numbers, mate. But we've chosen the 1st of October. It is a Wednesday.
Yes.
It does kick off at 10 a.m. But that's because there's PMQs on. So we're looking to fill the entire area. And hopefully, while they've got PMQs going on, you'll hear us outside. Chanting Kier
Yeah,
Starmer.
no, I should probably come to that one. There's no doubt about it.
Oh, please do. Yeah, yeah. I'd love
Yeah,
to
I
meet
couldn't come to the Dover one, but I probably will be coming to that one. And then you're going to move on to, if that is a success, to be outside council offices. Is that right?
Yeah, so on the 6th of October, we want to get everyone to their local council office because what we need to do, or what I think we need to do, is fight this on multiple fronts, not just a protest. We need to say, right, we'll go to the Home Office, then we're going to go to our local council's office. We've already drafted a email template that people can copy and paste, drop their details in, and send it off to their local councillors, so that we're just hammering them with emails as well. And then on the 7th and 8th, which is the Monday, Tuesday, we're looking, but the first needs to be a success, and we need to get big names to back us. I'm hoping after the 13th, we start to get a bit more backing and a bit more people being a bit more vocal. But we need large names on board to be able to push this, because what I want to do is lead a citizen-led opt-out where we essentially say, do you know what, for 48 hours, well, it would be 3 days essentially, because we'd be protesting on the 6th outside local council offices, and then on the 7th and 8th, we'd all just be opting out. We'd be staying home. No work, no school, don't shop, don't even buy online. We just opt out of the system, and we say, look, this is now the turning point where we say, we draw the line in the sand and we say, enough is enough. We're not going to be part of these games anymore. We're not going to be part of this system anymore. We have the power. We have the control.
Do you think you'll get the support? What do you think?
I hope so. Do you know what?
I
I'm
just
50-50.
worry. I know I've mentioned this before in when we've had previous discussions, but I do worry about the British people being apathetic, because it takes a big deal. Because you're also talking about withholding council tax. which I think you might get quite a bit of support for, because obviously with all the hotel things going on and this, that, and the other, and I think people are sick to death of paying council tax and it going up every year. Services get worse and everything. So I think the council tax thing is a good idea, isn't it?
I think so. Yeah. I mean, I think all of my ideas are good ideas.
No, they are.
But
Of course they
I think
are. Yeah.
no, I'm only
Of
joking.
course they are.
I think the council tax thing
Yeah.
is so it's what a weapon that is. So my local council, okay, Chester West and Chester, they have got £26 million in the bank in their reserves. That's what they've declared currently. Okay, they declared
Yeah.
that last month. They got £26 million in the bank. Everybody in under Cheshire West and Chester's remit, we collectively give £29 million a month to the council.
Yes.
So if we just didn't give anything for a month, if we just held back 1 month, they'd be negative £3 million by the end of the month.
Yes. Yeah.
So this is where you can say, do you know what? I'll just withhold it for a month. I'm not
Yeah.
saying don't pay your council tax.
Absolutely.
Because 3 months down the line, they'll start hitting you with court letters. And then
Yeah.
people will start to cave. People see the letters coming in. We're conditioned. You see that letter hitting the mat, you panic. How many
Yes.
times you see a letter come through your letterbox and you think, oh God, what's that? Because
Yeah.
that's just how we're conditioned to be. So I'm
Yeah.
not saying do not pay your council tax. What I'm saying is put it to one side. And what we'll do is we'll just slowly start to say to them, look, if you don't act within our interests, if you don't, give us what we want, we simply just stop funding you.
Yeah.
They won't be
No, I
able to
think
pay
that's brilliant.
wages. They won't be able to cut the hedges. They won't be able to fix the potholes. The people working in the offices, working for the council, they won't get paid at the end of the month because they won't have the funds to do it.
Yeah. Now, I was going to ask you, I've been watching you obviously online a lot, and I've noticed that like your delivery on speeches and all of that, you're getting quite, very eloquent on your speeches. Have you been sort of practicing your presentation and things like that? How easy is it for you to do that? Because you were a soldier and now you're coming into this thing where you've got to be pushing your ideas all the time. Has that been an easy transition for you?
No, do you know what? Yeah. So what I do now, I've always done it, but I always used to. I've always struggled, yeah, and I'm not going to say like I've got anxiety, but I've always been a very nervous person. So public
Right.
speaking for me has always been I'll either ramble like I'm doing now, where I just talk, or nothing comes whatsoever. There's no sort of in the middle. So I've always been a nervous speaker. I've never really enjoyed speaking publicly. But what I do now is I essentially just say to myself, right, what do I want to say? Then I write it down
Yeah.
on pen and paper. I set the camera up, and it might take me 3, 4, 5, 6 takes, if
Yes.
you like.
Yes. Yes.
But by the end of the video, I look at it and I go, yeah, I'm happy-ish with that, and then I just post it. But I think
Yeah.
speaking's possibly a bit like a muscle, isn't it? The more you do it,
Yeah.
the
Well, were you
better.
like all right at Dover? Because presumably you went up and did a speech there. How was that
Well,
for you?
I messed up there massively. So my Viv, who's like my second in command, she's not really. We're like 50-50, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
She come up to me afterwards. She's from Newcastle, and she was like, "Right, you're an absolute idiot." I said, "Why?" She went, "You were meant to do your speech first." I said, "Was I? I was going to let everyone do their speeches, and then I say
Yes.
something at the end."
Yes.
What a mistake, because I got to the end and I thought, there's nothing I can say here now on this microphone that hasn't already been said. So I just said that. Everyone clapped, and I just said, "Thank you very much for coming." And I just sort of went round the crowd then and spoke to people.
Yeah. Yeah, that's interesting. So, a few general topics I want to talk about. Are you worried now about the digital ID thing coming in with Kier Starmer? But because I think this is going to be, I don't know, the hill that everybody stands up against. Because obviously, once they've got you on digital ID, they can stop your bank accounts and this that, and the other. How are you viewing all of that?
Do you know, I think the most worrying thing about it is how many people are completely unaware,
Yeah.
or they look at it as like, oh, that's quite convenient actually to have everything in one place. And you try to explain to these people, look, in 10 years' time, 15 years' time, we're all going to have electric cars that they can just
Yes.
shut down remotely.
Yeah.
They're looking at moving to digital currencies that they can essentially, they will look at if I'm correct, they're putting expiration dates on these currencies. So if you don't spend it, you lose it. So you'll never save anything. You'll never be able to build up a bit of money. In 2-3 months' time, if you don't spend those credits, it's gone. You say or do the wrong thing. If you put out sort of an anti-establishment, anti-government rhetoric online, well, guess what? Your car now doesn't turn on for you to get to work. Your credits have just, you can't use your credits. It's that the more you look into it, the more frightful the whole thing is, and the fact that so many people are completely unaware of it is. What do we
Yeah, and
do?
I think it's incredibly dangerous, and I'm interested to see whether they'll make it completely mandatory that you've got to do it, and how many people are going to stand up against it. Very, very difficult. I also was going to ask you about the freedom of speech. Have you been limited online? Have you been censored? Because obviously we had the Father Ted comic, being arrested with 5 armed guards at the. Do you worry about getting on a plane, and do you worry about what you're saying and everything?
Yeah, I mean, I had the police here a couple of days ago,
Really?
questioning me on Islam. They were counter-terrorism police, questioning me on Islam, on race, on gender, asking. I have firearms. I've got a firearm certificate, so I've got shotguns and rifles, etc.
Right.
Questioning me why I need those. Would I consider, giving them up? Why do you have so many? When you're speaking online, what are your thoughts on keeping peaceful? Do you think there should be civil war? They were asking questions, and I just answered them all honestly. I've got nothing to hide, but I think it's a sign of the times, isn't it? You go online and you speak out and you say, do you know what? I love my country and I want to preserve, what we've had for so long. I don't want it to fall into the wrong hands. And I've said time and time again, this isn't about race. It's not about religion. It's about whether or not you love this country and you want to preserve it. That still is enough in the UK in 2025 to trigger counter-terrorism police coming to your house to question you further on your beliefs.
Did they
It's
warn
nuts.
you at all? Or did they just did you woke up at the door and there's how many police were at the door?
It was just two female police
Yeah.
officers. So no, so at my house is cameraed, and it's when you get the notification come through,
Yes.
and it was my wife. It come through on the phone. She, oh my god, the police are at our house, and I'm like, just chill, just don't worry,
Right.
don't panic. Do you know what I mean? Like I know I've done nothing wrong. I know that from a standpoint, so that's what I always stick to. But yeah, we had the notification. I said, look, I'm 20 minutes away. I'm going to be home in a minute. I thought there's no point putting it off. I might as well
No.
just go and confront them.
Yes.
They were lovely. They were very sort of, they were nice to talk to. But yeah, the questions that I was being asked, censorship is here, mate. It's here.
I mean, isn't it amazing? Isn't it amazing? So you just love your country and you want to stand up for your country and just keep the same values that we've had for thousands of years and all of that. And then you've got a knock on the door from the
Yeah,
police, the terrorism
yeah.
police. I mean, well, where are we at in this country? Do you think is it all down to the Labour government, Starmer, or have we been heading this way for a long time?
I mean, I think we've been heading this way for a long time, haven't we? I think Blair had a massive input on this. I think a lot of people know that.
Yeah.
But this isn't just the UK, I think there's an attack on the West in general.
Yeah.
I think there's certainly an attack on sort of Christianity, and even if not Christianity itself as a religion, I think there is an attack on that. But I think any country with sort of Christian values, our laws are essentially centered around the Ten Commandments. So anything that isn't, say, sort of pro-Islam, especially, is seen as a danger.
Yeah. Yeah. Have you ever thought at any point of leaving the country?
Yeah. Yeah, I
Yeah.
have. Yeah, before I started this, I thought, you know what? So I was, I've got an MVQ in psychology, and I was looking at going and doing it at A level in psychology, and I was looking to go and do it as a degree. So I'm three-quarters of the way through a degree with the Open University
Right.
for a degree in psychology, and then I wanted to go into criminal psychology, which would then open the door to be able to go to America.
Yes.
But then before I started all of it, I mean, that was my plan before I started the Great British National Strike and then the protest. But then I just thought, you know what? No, this is my home. This my family are here, my friends are here. I'm not running. Absolutely not.
A lot of people, when online, I look at all their comments and they say, "Oh, wouldn't it be good if Prince Charles intervened and saved us as a country?" Which I think is ridiculous. It's never going to happen. Are you disappointed in royalty? Are
Yeah.
you behind the royal family anymore?
No, absolutely not. I used to be. I mean, I joined the
Yeah.
army. I swore my oath of allegiance to the Queen. No, absolutely not. I mean, the King Charles now, as far as I'm aware, didn't put a single post out to do with Easter, but he was quite happy to put posts out on X, Facebook, etc. He was packing dates for Ramadan, and he had Muslims coming to Buckingham Palace so they could all sit down and have a feast together. And again, he's pushing that sort of narrative, and I've got nothing against Muslims, okay? My next door neighbour's a Muslim. They've seen what I
Yes.
do. Like, he agrees with me. He comes out and we speak about it. Lovely family. It's Islam as a whole and its incompatibility with the West. And I think it's so worrying that King Charles, and I think it's very telling that King Charles is allowing what's happening to happen, whilst also still pushing that narrative of let's embrace Islam. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
he's the not the defender of the church. What's it called, Liam? Help me out.
Is it Defender of
He's
the Faith or something?
the defender of the faith. Yeah. So
Yeah. Where do you think we're at with Kier Starmer? I mean, I now think he's actually almost like taking the piss and rubbing our face in it. I mean, we've got a new Home Secretary. You know, why pick this particular lady? I mean, it's ridiculous. What are you thinking about her appointment?
I think you're right in what you're saying. It's almost like a massive fuck you to the country, isn't it? That's what
Yeah,
it's like.
yeah,
It's a screw
yes,
you to everyone.
yeah,
It's
yes,
let's see how far we can push you. Let's see if I constantly feel like we're being intentionally sort of goaded.
yeah, yeah,
Do you know?
yeah,
Because you think, what next? Like, how else can
yeah,
you take the piss out of every single one of us?
yeah,
And he seems to find a new way to do it every single
yeah.
time.
I know it's unbelievable, and we were just talking about the police earlier. How are you with the police? I mean, it's so two-tier now. When you're seeing, what was the guy got arrested the other day for calling a policeman a muppet or
Yeah,
something? I mean, it's just
yeah,
beyond. How are the police with you at your events?
spot on.
Are
So
they all
what I
right?
would say is, yeah, every single time, every single one of them has
Yeah.
been absolutely spot on. Um,
Hmm.
even the ladies that come to my house the other day, okay, they're there because, and I hate to say this because I hate when they say it, I'm just doing my job, okay.
Yeah.
However, a lot of these people are doing a job. They've got mortgages to pay, like everybody else. They worry about their bills, and a lot of them, I'd say 99% of them, went into policing because they wanted to do good. However, they're now
Yes.
part of a system that indoctrinates them from the very, very beginning. So
Hmm.
they're constantly given DEI training, and they're told you have to, respect the fact that there's 60 odd genders. And when that's being drilled into them day in, day in, day
Hmm.
out for years at a time, they do become indoctrinated by the system. However, what I would say is, whenever I've dealt with the police at protests, when they've come to my house, whatever it is, I always get the overwhelming sense that most of them agree with what I'm saying and doing. And
Hmm.
you'll see them nodding along as you speak and smiling, and then they sort of catch themselves and
Hmm.
they stop. Do you know what I mean? Um,
Hmm.
so I think most of the police, on a personal level, on the ground, they know they're being shafted as well, and they know that
Hmm.
our future is their future too. I
Hmm.
think it's well, I know it's those at the top, same as it was with in the army when I was in the army. It's those at the top pulling the strings and making the decisions
Hmm.
that are influencing, and we only really see if a police officer is quite neutral or respectful or they're nice. People don't think, oh, I'll upload that because it doesn't get
Hmm.
views, it doesn't get likes,
No,
it doesn't get
sure.
attention.
So we are
So
only
what
seeing the
happened?
worst. We're seeing
Yeah,
the worst. Yeah.
we're seeing the worst online. So please, for everyone, just try and bear that in mind.
Yeah, absolutely. So you were saying earlier that you'd funded some of these protests outside the migrant hotels. Did you go to many of those protests yourself, and what was your experience?
Yeah, went to. It's been a mixed bag. Went to a couple in Manchester. Went to Altrincham. I'm really really bad with place names. Wakefield.
Hmm.
All over down South London at the Britannia Hotel.
Hmm.
I try and get about as much as I can.
Hmm.
Um, and it's a bit of a mixed bag, to be honest with you. Every single time, I think they start out with the best intentions. But for example, when I was at the Cresta Court Hotel, I did have to sort of intervene between the police and the
Hmm.
protests to say, look, just calm down. The left
Hmm.
started throwing smoke flares. There were migrants in the hotel rooms sort of filming people and putting it live
Hmm.
stream on TikTok and all
Yes.
the rest of it, sort of goading us. I think we just have to bear in mind that as soon as we get violent, we get shut down. So we have to
Yeah.
keep it completely peaceful. We have to. Um, I think whatever happens in the future, what we have to focus on now, and I know it sounds pink and fluffy, I say this every
Hmm.
time, we have to focus on unity because whatever
Yes.
happens in the future going forward, we are in a much better position if the likes
Hmm.
of us are sticking together when we do it. So
Yes.
whether it turns to violence or whether it doesn't, I pray it doesn't.
Yeah. Same
Either
here.
way, if we're all stuck together, if we're all one unit, if we are, unified, then surely we're in a better position to face whatever's coming.
Yeah. Right. Only a couple of minutes left. Are you sort of happy with yourself at the moment? Are you all right? Do you feel you've made the right choice in what you're doing? Or are there moments that you go to bed and you think, really, I shouldn't have bothered with this?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. There's been so many lessons along the way, personal ones. Um, it's hard. It's hard to go into. I mean, like I say, we've just had to let two people go because of things they
Hmm.
were wanting to do and all the rest of it. So I think my biggest lesson is to have the right people on board. That's so important.
Yes.
To watch what I'm saying, to try and watch what I'm saying, because I've said it before in the
Hmm.
past. I 5 months ago, I had like 200 friends on Facebook, and now I've got like 500,000 across all my platforms. So
Right.
it's trying to remember that everything I say, it is under a microscope. So to not make promises that I can't keep. Um, yeah, it's been a learning curve, mate. It really, really has. It's been a
Yeah.
massive learning curve.
What was
Um,
your worst moment?
um, Probably. So, have you heard of Britain First?
Yes.
Yeah. So, a member of my team who is one of the two people that we've just let go managed to, and I'm usually a good judge of character, mate. I really am, but these two individuals, they just did a number on me. So she managed to sort of manipulate me into thinking. She sent me text messages and pictures and stuff to say that Britain First were ripping down our flags all over the country
Hmm.
and then
Hmm.
replacing our flags with their own.
Hmm.
I fell for that hook, line, and sinker, and straight away I took to social media and essentially was,
Hmm.
put Britain first, da 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 da.
Yeah.
Completely the wrong thing to do. Completely why I did it, I don't know.
Hmm.
Um, Sometimes I just act without thinking. And again,
Hmm.
it's I'm human. I've not had media training.
Hmm.
I'm not a politician or anything. I'm just a regular guy. And sometimes when you see red, you do act before you think.
Hmm.
So again, that's another lesson of mine. It's completely my fault, because I
Hmm.
should have thought ahead. But that's probably been me at my worst. And then in terms of what that does to, like, again, I don't want to go on about mental health and all the rest of it. What that
Hmm.
does to you mentally when you're trying to do this is yeah, it's not good. It's not good. So there's been dark
Have
times,
you,
but
have you had sort of, I would have thought with the pressure that you've been under, have you had sort of mental health issues where you're thinking, God, I don't know if I can handle this? I mean, look, folks, what I'm saying is this is a big deal to take on. It's a big deal to take on, and not many people have got the guts or the courage to do it. So there has to be moments where you think, oh, blimey, I think I've bitten off more than I can chew.
yeah, I'll be completely honest with you. I've had to start really sort of looking after my health now because it's too
Hmm.
easy, mate, to go, do you know what? Fancy a drink. So then you have a drink.
Yes.
But then before you know it, you're like, hold on, I had a drink last night, the night before, the night before that, and the night before that.
Hmm.
So I'm in a position where, especially the last couple of weeks, I'm having to say to myself, no, you need to get up at a regular time. You need to go to bed at a
Yes.
regular time. You need to put that phone on do not disturb, come 9, 10 o'clock
Yes.
at night, and stay away from the alcohol, stop eating junk food, stop, spending all your time on social media. You always
Hmm.
focus on the negative comments. You never focus on the positive ones. So I've had to set up not a regime. What's it called? What would you call it? Again, help me out, please.
A routine. A
A
routine.
routine. Thank you.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
a
yeah.
routine.
Yeah.
To look after myself a bit better because there was a time a couple of months ago where I just wasn't.
Right. No, all right. Well, let's go out on a positive. Well, what's been like the best moment where you suddenly thought, you had 1,000 crowd behind you, and you thought, actually, what I'm doing is really worthwhile. What's been your best moment?
Do you know what, mate? There's not been one specific moment, so it's seeing the flag, like just seeing the flags go up everywhere. Like I don't,
That's
you've
brilliant,
seen it
isn't it?
yourself, yeah. You see these flags everywhere, and it's like, wow, like we're genuinely coming together. Look at where we were just 3 months ago to where we are
Hmm.
now. People
Yeah.
are coming together. I promise you that. So it's seeing the flags going up. It's seeing people getting out and protesting. It's seeing grannies and granddads and
Hmm.
kids and everyone in between getting out to the hotels, waving the flags and saying, "Do you know what? This is our country. We love it, and we're going to fight for it."
Fantastic. So, just tell everybody if they haven't come across you before, where do they go to support you? What do they look for?
Get on Facebook, X, or TikTok and type in, I know it's long winded, the Great British National Protest, and we
Yeah.
should be the first ones that pop up.
Fantastic. So support this man, Richard. His heart is really in the right place, and we definitely support him on his channel. And we look forward to hopefully seeing you within the million crowd on Saturday, waving your
Yes.
flag.
I hope I managed to find you, mate. I really do.
See you soon, folks.